All righty. Awesome. Well, welcome to the Realtor Mastermind once again. Thank you to each and every single one of you for being on this awesome call. Every Wednesday, we're committed to bringing you the best of the best. And our special guest today is Caesar. He's actually out of Texas, and he's done an amazing job of building his platform. And get this, guys, he went from 2,000 followers on Instagram to almost 70,000 in the last 12 months. I mean, I saw one of his first initial videos that was sent out by a couple of people within my family. They're like, "Look at this guy. He's hilarious. He's doing such funny videos." So, Caesar, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to share with our community. This has been some time in the making, and I want to give you guys some context about Caesar. He this year he's already year to date about $15 million in production. He's been in the business about 7 years. He got into the business in 2017. He currently has one admin staff and also a total of four agents on his team. And he works together with his wife as well. I love seeing your videos, brothers. Thank you so much for being a guest. Welcome to the Realtor Mastermind. And let's give him a warm welcome, a big round of applause. Let's blow up the chat, guys. Let's get it. Awesome, 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 awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
And
for
Leo, maybe we can drop his Instagram in the chat also, so that everyone could follow him. Some people might not have seen it.
I'm one of the few that actually just has their name as the handle. So it just literally Cesar Gutierrez.
Let's go.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it into the chat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, Caesar, again, thank you so much for being on, brother. First question. I mean, obviously I have the opportunity to have gotten to know you and follow you, and maybe there's some people here that haven't had the privilege and honor of getting to know you, bro. So, let's start off with your story, man. 7 years in the business. Talk a little bit about your experience thus far, and then we'll get into other questions.
I started in San Antonio, Texas, 2017. Then I, got married. Wife got pregnant. She wanted to be close to family, so we moved back to Laredo. So we're border town. I know there's some people on the call that are, from here. And I've always been into, I guess, humor. I love humor. Graduated high school, most witty. Just been got palo my whole life. And there was a point in real estate where, like the video walkthroughs became like super popular, but like there was just like a handful of people that could do it. I was like, oh my God, how do you do that? And it was interesting. So I wanted to get on, I guess, on that wave of starting to get, do content that way. And funny story, before I would also do face swap videos. So this was probably 6 years ago, when my first, I guess my oldest was born. I would do face swap videos, just funny funny videos. Those took off, and I started getting recognized, like here in Laredo. My catchphrase at that point was "Dale Shine," and people started calling me like, "Hey, ¿qué onda? Dale Shine, what's up? This and that," and I started getting business from there. But then I kind of got, I guess, conflicted on the like professionalism and still doing those types of videos. I mean, those weren't even real estate related, but I had a whole like icon or like, I guess, logo and everything. So from there, just kind of stopped doing those videos, started focusing like, okay, now I have to be professional and, service my clients and whatnot. And then it wasn't until, I guess, this year I had the idea. Originally what I wanted to do was, I guess, like MTV Cribs type of videos. And I had reached out to a buddy of mine that does like video production, or he works for someone like in a company. And I was like, hey, I have this idea. Like, I don't know if you're on board. Like, I need help, this and that. And he said, like, okay, well, let me get back to you. Never got back to me. And then later I find out that they were trying to work with this other realtor to do some other stuff. So then I started doing kind of like the speed tours before speed tours became a thing. But I had to rely on someone, so that was kind of like, I guess, frustrating for me. And then from there, I just started, I have a tripod. At that time, I had like the ones you can buy on TikTok, like those $20, I guess, mics, and I would just record myself. And the first house was a house that I needed to sell, and the house was not Mamalona. All. It was actually like half of it was on actual cement, and the other half was like pier and beam. It was just a difficult house to sell. And I remember I was outside that house for about 30 minutes just contemplating, like, should I do this video? Should I do it? And so I did it, and then I did the whole editing, and I showed it to my wife, and I was like, hey, we'll get piensas. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, she didn't want to say yes or no.
How many takes, bro? Before you get to continue the story, how many takes? Like, you're sitting in the car, you got this
Yeah.
concept, you got this idea. You're like, this house ain't moving. It's not my mom now, but you're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get it. So what happened? Like, walk us through, like, how that happened, right? How do you put it all together?
So I didn't even have a
Was it
tripod.
multiple takes for you, or
Yeah, so it's multiple takes.
okay?
Even today, like each house is anywhere between like to make one video, it's about 12 to like 18 like mini clips that are added together and then edited after that. Um, and I didn't have my tripod at that time, and I remember the first take, I put it on top of like a trash can against like a chain link fence. Angle was kind of horrible, but I was like, chinga, let's just do it. And from there, I think that one was like 20 different clips. And after I did the editing, my wife was like, basically, she didn't want to be the one to say yes or no. So it doesn't fall back on her. So smart of her to do that. Um, and then when I decided to post it, I was like, okay, if I'm going to post it, I'm going to be consistent. So, at that time, it was taking me about 4 to maybe even 6 hours just to go film, figure out how to edit it and all that. So it was a good chunk of my day for something that I didn't know if it was going to take off or anything. But the thing was, I told myself I need to be consistent and I need to post every single day for 2 weeks. So it was a house a day for 2 weeks. And usually I post it in the afternoon, past 5:30 or 6. And I didn't even have TikTok. It was just Instagram and Facebook. And my wife told me, like, you need to get TikTok, because after like maybe like the fourth video, like they were getting some good views. And the one that kind of made it take off was a tiny home that I did in San Antonio. But I think if I would have focused on the views or the likes or the comments on the first videos, I don't think I would have continued to do those videos. And the board here in Laredo is kind of like, they're a little old school. Like Marcos is doing the little, they're pretty cool here. Uh, to be very blunt, and I got fines. I got like, they were just trying to find like where they can, give me a fine.
Mm,
And, that kind of made me hesitate a bit, because it was a total of like 2,000 and 2,500 in fines in a span of like a week. And I'm like, well,
wow.
I can pay them, but I'm not, it's just throwing away money just and at that time I
Yeah.
wasn't getting anything really in return. It was just kind of like comments and whatnot. And then my wife told me to get TikTok. That's where I started posting it, and I didn't know anything about TikTok. I had deleted it because I needed storage on my phone. Uh, and and then I just started posting, and then started building up, and then I started kind of knowing or understanding how it works. You know, you can become a creator on TikTok, and then you can start getting paid and all this stuff. So once you get to a certain point of like, I guess, followers and stuff, like you don't have to post every single day. It's recommended once you start off, like to start building, I guess you could say, your platform. And you know, we started this year in February, so it's been less than a year. We're still learning on how everything works. You know, creating systems of like leads that get here. And we started our brand, Mama Lonsky's brand. We trademarked it, so it's been fun. And I think the biggest thing is being authentic. And I think before my videos, I started videos, I would always kind of say like, be authentic. Like
Mm.
if you're not really like a funny person, like don't try to be funny. Like if you're more professional, like there's ways to like have good videos or good content that's professional. Because people can read through the lines if you're being real fake, and then it just becomes more difficult for you to make more content, and it just stresses you out because you're trying to become a whole different person. um Not saying I always be like, hey, que onda, mamalon, sass, like everything, but um but you know, it's I think it's just being really authentic, because people can tell like it's genuine. And I think for me what's helped is that people feel comfortable. You know, I get new clients, and you know, sometimes I don't know that they saw the videos, and then they just say like, oh, sass or something, and then from there it's just a lot easier to kind of help them out with the whole process, because you can have a lot smoother conversations, you know, a lot easier. Um, you know, people can really open up. Like if they don't like a house, they'll straight up tell you. Where sometimes it could be a little bit like, "Cómo le digo?" So yeah, they see like, and they'll tell me like, "Oh, this esta casa está mamalona," and then like you feel one mamalona, two mamalonas.
Hey,
I
so
love that,
so
brother.
I have a question for you. So I know you said you were doing everything yourself, like your phone was propped up
Yeah,
and the editing. So you didn't have like a camera guy, nothing like that. You were doing all the work and learning yourself, right? And I'm sure it was hard to put all those clips together and learn, and you just figured it out, right?
yeah. So it was, and that's why it would take me like 5 6 hours at first, because it was figuring out the editing. And then like I was almost done, but the app hadn't updated, so I would press like something by accident, and it would just delete everything, and I was like, no man.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to do it.
oh.
So there was a lot yeah, a lot of times where I was like, yeah, like this is, I like doing the content, but then like the editing was frustrating me. I still do it myself, like I still record myself. Well, my wife helps me out now, but I do the editing. But it takes me like now maybe 30 minutes to, you know, edit a video.
So
Uh,
no fancy equipment, anything like that. What do you edit on? Maybe for people who want to start doing
so
videos.
I know a lot of people use captions, but I guess since I didn't start on captions, I started. Oh wait, no, not caption. I do use captions. There's another one, CapCut. That's one that like kind of people.
Mm.
Another like a free version of it, and you can do a lot with that one. But at that time, I had seen like an ad on TikTok or something, so I just went with that one, and that's what I've used. But I know CapCut is also a good one where you can, you know,
So
make.
guys, everyone on the call, it took him 5 to 6 hours to edit these first videos. So social media, it's not just, you're gonna make a quick, yeah, it's not like you're gonna do a 15-second video, no editing, just post it and expect it. You might have to put in some time, learn the app, learn the platform, learn CapCut, and then it gets easier. Now he said 30 minutes, right? So definitely if you're gonna
Yes.
dive into it, it's gonna take steps, right? There's levels to it.
Mhm.
It's not just gonna happen right away. And I have a
100%.
question too. So now I've seen you kind of merged into like other types of videos, right? So it was just the home tours. Like even myself, I kind of find different characters. I feel like sometimes it gets boring. I'm like, what's next? I see
Yeah.
you do like videos with your wife and stuff like that. Can you
So
tell us how that came about, like how you transitioned, and if it's been working for you?
Yeah, so it's funny because people, I don't know why. So a lot of these words that I started saying, they just, I'm very like improv. So like I'm very in the moment, and then like all of a sudden some words just like stuck. So like lahaina, it wasn't part of like my normal vocabulary, but now it is. And so now they see my wife and they're like, oh, look, lahaina, or, this and that. People don't know what lahaina is. It's just like your chick or, your vieja. Or,
Hmm.
uh, and so she would always show me videos of like, oh, the viral like cucumber videos and this and that. So I was like, let's just do one because people were asking for lahaina, like, oh, where's lahaina? Where's lahaina? So we did one. I took off like pretty good, and people started asking more for her. So you kind of have to kind of read the comments, see what people want, and again, sometimes it might start kind of going like a mix of real estate and like personal stuff, or mixing it with your family. But again, people want to know who they're working with. So every time you meet, like they feel like they know you. Like I've had people like, oh, how's the hind? How's your wife? How are your kids? Like all this stuff. Like, hey, I tried your cucumber salad recipe and stuff like that. So people feel more connected, and I think that's the important part, where
Mm,
people feel like a safe space to be able to buy a house. It's stressful enough to buy a house.
yes.
You're spending chingos and a half to buy a house, and sometimes people only buy once in their lifetime. So you want to make it a fun, enjoyable like experience. And just because you're funny or use comedy doesn't mean you're not professional. Uh, you know, you can still have your negotiations and all this stuff, separated from your human side. I always say like comedians, like they like big comedians. They obviously have they manage their money. They have their business meetings and all that stuff. Just because they're funny doesn't mean they're stupid. Um, so
Yes.
so again, don't be scared to like be yourself, and
Mm,
you're not going to get every single person. And I've always said, hay para todos, which means like there's
yes.
something for everyone. Um, and I think it's when you first start off, or when there's like a shift in the market, like you want to get every single piece of business you can, and you just stress yourself out because you try to keep a client that is eventually going to probably leave, or they make a comment where like, oh, I have a family member, and ya estás chingando that like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it work. And it's like, okay, well, if you have someone, go use that person, and save your time, save your energy, because at the end of the day, they're probably going to go with that person. And again, I put
Yes.
those. Go look, use your time wisely, and use it where I guess it's more effective.
So
I
I
love that, brother.
I always
Yeah.
I always try to tell people like how powerful social media is. So now I know you gained a lot of followers and made a lot of connections. Can you
Mhm.
tell us like some of the wins that came out of this? I know you got like a deal with like Toyota or something. So it's paying off, right? All the clips and the videos like that.
Yeah. So when we were at about, I think it was like 10,000 followers, 9 or 10,000 followers, we had this company reach out. It was a med spa, and I was like, "What the hell am I gonna do at a med spa?" Uh, but then we had a meeting with her. My wife was kind of like, what the fuck, And so we kind of did like a trade off there, like, hey, we'll get services there, and in exchange, we'll do like a video for them. And that was my first time experiencing like doing that same type of video, but for business. And she said like, oh, it's gonna, trust me, people are gonna start calling you and this and that. And that's what happened. We did one commercial,
Mm,
and then we have a bunch of businesses that have reached out to do commercials. We have a deal here in Laredo with Toyota Laredo. We have a year contract, so I do a commercial, one commercial per month, and they're paying exclusivity rights for that whole year. So
Wow.
they're paying 2,000 a month for me to do one video per month.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive, brother. And
yeah,
thank you for sharing all these nuggets so far, man. And sorry if I think there might be a delay on my connection. So if I do interrupt you, it's not intentional. It's a delay. But thank you for sharing everything. I mean, a
yeah,
couple things that I've taken away so far, brother, is you obviously there's sound bites, right? I don't think a lot of people think about the sound bites, right? Like that's very like it's a very unique thing that you caught on to, like these phrases, right? Mama Lonsky's La Jaina, or like you said, only shine, right? Like these are specific things that have helped you to grow. And you said it's also spontaneous, right? So it's about being in the moment. So that's one thing that I've taken away so far. The other thing is obviously you've used a couple of the tools, right? Like CapCut and sounds like Captions is also another one that you've used.
yeah.
It tell us a little bit of like, okay, now you got this following, you got this brand, you're getting other contracts with other businesses. Share a little bit of like how the leads like kind of come in and what's your approach with that, right? Because now you got this massive platform, they're coming in. So any insights or best practices you can share about that now that you've got to where you're getting 70,000
Yeah.
followers.
So we started getting a lot of business in the valley, and so my cousin's husband ended up getting his license, so we he joined our team over there in the valley. And I don't know, for some reason, a lot of people think like, "Oh, you're from the valley," or like they see me here in Laredo, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were from the valley." And like, no, I'm Laredo. Um, but I think you know what I've learned is really filtering those leads, because I noticed a lot of people.
Mm,
We did a big open house, and normally in open houses you get like two or three families, and that was a great open house. And we had 16 families come to that open house. Um,
wow.
and I would say maybe 25% of the people that went were just kind of like went to go like fanboy or fangirl. So, and it's weird to me because like Marcos knows me. I've been the same the whole time. Uh,
Right.
and I think it's kind of knowing how to ask the right questions when someone reaches out through social media, and like, hey, are you working with an agent? Are you working with a lender? We can connect you with a lender, and not just automatic. Okay, it's a lead. Let's meet up or this and that. Especially now with the new like NAR rules and stuff, they're gonna. I mean, from what I heard is what's it called? They're gonna start having like mystery shoppers and stuff. So you got to make sure you
Hmm.
have the proper documentation for that. But
Right.
I think it's a lot of really filtering, and
Hmm.
we have the team is kind of start sending leads to the team,
Yep.
also connecting with other realtors that are, because I've gotten calls from California, a lot of
Hmm.
Dallas, Houston, and you can kind of get to a point where you just do more referral business and not have
Yes.
to worry so much about actually doing going out and selling and all that.
Yeah.
I don't
100%. Was that,
I don't think
and I'm
all of us
pretty
will
sure that that
follow
was,
the rest of our lives.
yeah, I'm sure that that was probably not even part of your plan, right? Like you were planning on like on selling your
Yeah,
properties locally, and like this whole referral network has kind of like, taken a life of its own, which is like I would
yeah,
say a blessing, a huge blessing, because now you're able to build, and that's the beauty of your platforms, right? Like Instagram and TikTok, like both of those platforms are global platforms, so you're able to attract business everywhere. So
yeah.
like let's speak to like obviously everybody's here because they want to learn how to grow their platforms, right? So like walk us through like if Caesar is restarting today, with less than 2,000 followers, like walk us through like what you would advise for all of these guys and gals in here in the Zoom call, the things that they should do, best
So
practices and implementation.
So you have to have like a schedule as far as, when you're starting off, you're gonna have to post every single day. People always say, okay, go comment on on five people's posts, put five stories, that whole yada yada. But I think you need to have a schedule. I recommend posting anytime after 5 o'clock or 5:30, and kind of choose your theme. That way, it's like before when we didn't have cable. You watch, I don't know, the novela on channel 13 at 8 o'clock. You already programmed in your mind that I need to be home by 7:30 so I can be ready to watch my novela La Rosa de Guadalupe at 8 o'clock. So
Exactly.
yeah, so you have to create that system of like, okay, every day for the first 2 weeks, I'm gonna post at 5:30 or 6, but kind of know exactly what you want to put. Be consistent on it. Like, don't jump around on different like topics. If you're gonna do, like, for example, casas mamalonas, do casas mamalonas. If you're gonna, whatever it is you want to do, just be consistent on that. And I think the biggest thing is consistency, and don't worry about like, because people stop posting because I didn't get enough views, I didn't get enough
Hmm.
likes, I didn't get enough comments, Panchita, someone told me that, like, no mames, why'd you post that? If it's true to you, like, you post you, okay? Don't worry about what other people say, like, que te valga what they say. Okay, because
Mm.
the people that know you, they're like, Inga, that's Maria Rocha. You know what I mean? Or, that's Marcos. People can, again,
Yep.
going back to authenticity. So again,
Yes.
be authentic, post about like who you really are, and don't be scared to, I guess, be judged. Because I mean,
Yes.
it was a fun first 2 weeks, trying to figure out all these fines and people
Yep.
stuff.
And so
You gotta,
I want
you
to.
gotta, I was just gonna say, I was gonna give you kudos, Steve. You've said something like Caesar said, like you gotta embrace the cringe, right? You gotta
Yeah,
embrace the cringe, basically. Go
yeah,
ahead, Steve.
I want to touch a little bit like on your personal like schedule. Like,
yeah.
are you shooting videos every day? Are you do it one day a week, or like I just want to kind of see how much work it takes.
So, for example, here, going back to like the board here in Laredo, they're kind of like, uh, kind of tough to kind of do videos, and like we need to get all this stuff, and so you have to plan ahead. So, I like to go to, like, let's say I go to San Antonio on a Tuesday. In San Antonio, I can record maybe like 6 houses in one day, and I have content for about like 2 weeks. Because I can do 3 videos of houses during the week, and then I can put like, now I can put like a filler video of like me and my wife cooking or making something, and it spreads out. But usually, like for commercials, for business commercials, are on Wednesdays. For like houses, they're on Tuesdays or as needed. If I go to San Antonio, then I'm good for, I won't record for like 2 weeks because I'll have enough content. But but yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's because I don't have time. Like no matter, yes, yeah, everyone has time. Like, you just
Hmm.
I feel like we fill up our calendar with like busy work so that way we can feel productive. But like, all you really did was you wrote your to-do list on your, on your bulletin board, on your notepad, and then on your computer. And then, that was 3 hours. I was like, oh yeah, I'm super productive. I wrote what I needed to do. Ya lo veo allá, lo veo aquí, lo veo acá. And it's like, no, like, do the actual stuff like that you need to do, like the stuff that gives you hueva to do. That's the stuff that you need to do.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a huge, huge, huge golden nugget, guys. And that's a huge distinction, right? We all could get busy cleaning out the garage, like cleaning the room or washing the car, but is it really productive and is it really moving you forward in your business, which is super important.
I
And I
mean,
think
unless
that
it's your
that's a
content,
huge thing.
unless that's your
Yeah,
content that you
unless
wash your car, Marco's washing his Corvette or something, you know.
exactly. Exactly. But have a purpose and an intention. And that's what I mean, I'm gathering, bro, as you've been speaking. You're obviously you're funny, right? But you have a very specific intention with everything. Everything you're doing is very, very intentional. And I think a lot of people, kind of miss that part. You have to have an intention because that's going to create the result ultimately of what you want to do. So
Yeah.
um as
And, and I
I don't
remember
know if you
some.
were gonna if you were gonna say something like that.
I was talking to Steve, and he said because I came out with the song, and he told me like, hey, you got to post it like several times, but maybe like change the video. Obviously, you leave the song, and he's like, I posted it 5 times before it took off, and there's times where you can repost old videos or old content if you need to fill it up, like, hey, you know what, I need to post today, it's all right. Like, you have new followers. Let's say I post a video that I posted when I had 10,000 followers. Now I have 66,000 followers. There's some people that might have not seen that video, and you'll probably get in the comments some people that are like, oh, that's like a repost. I'm like, okay, it's a repost, but you're still here commenting. You get me?
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, so just
100%. So one of the question I was going to ask you, bro, like just so we're clear, captions and cap cutter sounds like it's the two tools that you're using, and any other like Mamalona tool that you're using that is like super cool, that is making a big difference with your, I don't know, postings or keeping track of stuff, like anything else that you're using.
So I ended up buying the DJI's, the mics. I think that was a
Mhm.
good investment, tax write-off. And I mean, I had a tripod already. So one thing I recommend if you're gonna have longer videos, uh, especially if they're Spanglish, because my thing is where I would take forever was I'd finish editing the video, and then I had to go back and edit the captions because apparently AI doesn't understand Spanglish. So
Yeah, I know. It should by now. It should by now,
yeah,
but it doesn't,
so I was
right?
like, you know what? I just took it off, and like now it auto generates its own there, and I'm like, I'm fine with it. People find it funny. It says like when I say mamalona, like the translation is it's funny. You should check it out. And for another thing was whenever you do videos that are longer than a minute, reels can only be I think 90 seconds or longer than a minute and a
Hmm.
half.
Yep.
So if you just click on Reels and like you're gonna post your video and it's like 2 minutes, if you're just kind of like Simon, it's gonna chop off 30 seconds of your video. So
Yes.
a way you can avoid that and like still put your whole video to show up as a reel, instead of clicking on reels like when you post, because how it says you can post a reel, photo, or carousel or whatever. You click on just regular post, and then you can click on your
Hmm.
video and upload the entire video. That way, it doesn't get lost.
Ah.
Speaking of timing, I noticed like on all your videos, there's no dead space. It's like short, like half-second clips, 1 second clips. You're bouncing around. Is that a good strategy that you would recommend? Like keeping the clips real short as far as like
Yeah,
time?
like try not to have like dead space, uh, because one, it'll make your video longer, and two, I think what people like is also like, let's say you're recording yourself, you're at a house and you're sitting in the kitchen, and then like saying something about the house, and then boom, it pops up, and now you're in the living room somewhere else, but like in the same, I guess, frame. Uh, I think it's pretty cool. People are like, oh, like you're teleporting or whatever. Uh,
Mhm.
Mm.
yeah, but empty space, I don't really recommend. Just kind of, that's why you have those tools. Like again, uh, CapCut is the one that I think is free, and then you can pay if you want some other, or Captions. Captions is the one that I personally use. So whichever one works for you, go with that one.
Thank you.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it, brother. Great, great. Thank you so much for that. And what would you say is like your sweet spot of time when you create a video? Like, what's the sweet spot of time? Like the whole video. I know you obviously mentioned like a hack, which is great, but what would you say
Yeah.
is your sweet spot?
Where I'd like to be is like like anywhere between like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes is where I would love to be, but it depends on the house and like what it has. There's been some videos that have been like 5 minutes long, and like I mean now you're talking about like YouTube. But again, I don't really look too much into that. Um because then you start worrying too much about what you're going to post, and then you don't end up posting and you just stress yourself out. Like if it's long, it's long. If people want to watch the whole video, because they watch the whole video. If they don't, because they don't. uh and
Mm,
and people, like, you'll see the comments and they'll be like, I watched the whole thing, or whatever it is. You
mm,
start getting fans and all that. Again, just be authentic, be yourself.
mm. Love that. Love that, brother. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, brother. Any other tips or advice that you would say as these guys are trying to learn, like, right, how to get themselves like more lead, more production, like any tools, any systems, any training, like anything else that you think would give them an additional nugget?
So I think the biggest thing would be consistency. So there's gonna be people that are camera shy. So I don't want this, like,
Hmm.
I guess this call to be just based on like, oh, you have to post on social media. There's business for everyone, and if that means, hey, you know what, I don't really like to do videos, then be consistent at something. If you're gonna be doing open houses,
Mm,
do open houses every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's like, oh, but then I
mm,
want to work the whole week. Okay, well then take Monday, Tuesday off. Like, you can do that. But be consistent, at something. Whatever's gonna work. There's people
mm.
that say open houses don't work. Some people like that's all I do for business. So be consistent. Have some type of system, and don't worry too much about that system. From the very start, because then
Yes.
again, you're never gonna post because like, no, no, todavía no tengo el system y no sé qué voy a decir. Y eso, ¿no? So just
Mm,
do it, and then you learn from every video. Like, okay, now I know I can do
yeah.
this, or change this, change that. But just there's a saying, I don't even know. It's something about like quién sabe, like just action. Como Nike,
Yeah.
just do
I think I think what you're I
it.
think yeah, I think what you're trying to say is like analysis paralysis, right? A lot of people like
Yeah,
they overthink it and then they don't end up doing it, right? And then you never know if something's gonna work. And what I always tell people is like, bro, like people are gonna forget about your video in 10 seconds anyway. So just do it, try it. If it doesn't work, it just you can go on to the next thing. And but consistency is a huge one. There's two questions that I saw here in the chat, and guys, I'm gonna encourage everybody to also post any other questions because I'm gonna start taking some questions from you guys. So somebody asked about scheduling. Do you go and schedule in the app? Do you just post it? You just know you have it on your calendar and you post it organically yourself, or are you using some sort of scheduling platform? Like, how do you do your scheduling? Because you said like it needs to be like right consistent time,
yeah,
like the novela. What? How do
yeah.
you do? How do you keep track of that?
So you can use Creator Studio. Creator Studio can connect like Instagram and Facebook, and that way you can already have them scheduled. But for me, like for example, I already have a template on like my notes as far
Mm,
as like the text that goes on each video. I just go in there, change the address, price, or whatever it is I need to change.
mm,
And it's just kind of like, hey, I have it ready. I have it, I'll get us on. Okay, let me post it. For
got it.
scheduling, I think that works better, in my opinion, for like pictures. Let's say you're gonna put pictures of houses for sale houses, or just, I guess it depends on your type of content. Like if you can,
Got it.
get 5 clips from one video that you can make different stuff, then you can schedule it. And again, I'd recommend kind of scheduling it after 5:30 or early in the morning. But best results for for mine, it's been in the afternoon where people are getting out of work, stuck in traffic, just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram.
Hmm.
But someone did put it's best to review your analytics, which is also true because you can kind of see like I guess the traffic that you get uh, per day and like at what times is like best. But
I love
again,
it. I love it.
don't
Yeah,
don't overthink it or analyze it. Like just do it. Like just post it.
Can
I
uh
love it.
can
Yeah, so early morning. Go ahead.
can people hit you up for your cucumber salad recipe?
Yeah, yeah. There's of course we're actually gonna start selling them. No, I'm kidding.
Let's go. I gotta get in my Malonsky hat too, bro. What's up with it? I need one of those hats, bro. I need one of those
We
hats.
have,
I need to get that. Need to get that merch, bro. I need to get that merch.
yeah.
So,
So Mama
Patricia,
Lindsay.
yes. Patricia asked the question, and what are your thoughts on using Pivo device for? And this is a new question for me. I don't even know what Pivo devices are. So, anything you know about that? Is it? She asked, is it worth the investment?
A ver, vamos a ver, porque yo soy, yo no entiendo tanto el
A ver,
lenguaje.
a ver. A ver, yo tampoco no entendí el Pivo device. Or maybe Patricia, if you can elaborate on what this is. Is this like a gimbal? Is that what you're
Oh,
asking about?
yeah, is it the one that like you put and like it follows you or right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, that's
Yeah, do you have anything like that, or you're just posting it, you said a
I
little
mean,
tripod thing?
I just the phone, a tripod. I think I don't have here, and then the mic, and that's it.
The
It can,
DJI mics.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be doing that type of video, like where it requires that type of equipment, then I'd say go for it. But I do recommend, if you're gonna decide like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna be posting videos, I highly recommend you do invest in like good equipment. And I'll tell you from experience, when we started recording like commercials for businesses, I remember I went, did the video with my little Chafia mic, and then I get home, I'm editing, and I'm like, chingo, like the voice was like robotic, and I was like, I have to put on the same clothes that I went with. Like, hey, ¿qué onda? I need to go back because soy yo mal. And then, having to make
No
that
salió
call.
bien.
Yeah, like, hey, sorry, it's because I have shitty equipment. I need to go back. So
Yep, yep.
invest in it, just write it off. Like, you need tax write-offs. I mean, unless you want to pay taxes.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
So
I
I guess
definitely want to write off as much as possible.
for Mrs. Patty, if you're going to do that type of video, then yes, it's worth your investment. Pero úsalo. Don't just buy
Love it.
it and not use it.
Awesome. And Eduardo asked about like how many hours or what days of the week are you setting us apart for videos and marketing? I think you might have addressed it. So if you can just refresh us
Yeah.
quickly, like yeah, how's your schedule for recording?
So I personally like to at least schedule like 2 or 3 houses on a day. Let's say I go on a Tuesday. Um, that way I have video content for the rest of the week. Um, but I guess it depends on what's available here in Laredo. Again, it's kind of a weird market as far as letting us post videos and getting permission from builders and a bunch of stuff that we need to do. So it kind of varies. But like, let's say I were to live in San Antonio, where it's a bigger market. There, I'd probably go on Tuesdays, record 6 houses. I'm done
Hmm.
for 2 weeks. I don't have to record any more
Yeah,
videos as far as houses, and then just edit them. That
cool.
same day, you can probably knock out at
Awesome.
least 2 houses.
I had a one more question that came up for me, bro. And again, I want to acknowledge you obviously for just having the courage to continue to move forward, even when you said you were getting some big fines right at one point. So
Yeah.
what is it that kept you like saying, you know what, I'm going to continue anyways, right? Because you obviously got those fines. You probably didn't get as much engagement in the beginning, right? What was your mindset, or what did you do to bulletproof your mindset during those moments before your breakthrough moment? Because I think it's very important for people to stay with it, right, long enough.
Yeah, I think I had a lot more positive, comments And I guess this will tie into someone asked about tell us more about collaborations with businesses. We started doing a lot of collabs with businesses. You know, we kind of started like, okay, well, how much do we charge? So we came up with our fee, and we just go and do business, like reviews of businesses. And I think it was like our second or third business. It was a vet clinic, and the lady told, like, when we finished, she was just telling me like, she's like a counselor by trade, and then her husband, something like that. And she said that sometimes she wakes up at night and like she has anxiety, and she has like kind of like mental breakdowns. And she said, and I literally go to your videos because it makes me
Wow.
laugh, and it, you know, brings me back to a better like mental space. And I think for me that really kept me going. And I've gotten several emails and private messages, you know, of people going through like hard times, and they use like the videos as kind of like an escape, or to kind of bring them back to like a happy place. And now with all these, you know, mental, or how can I say, I guess mental wellness is like a big thing. And if I can be part of someone's, you know, bad moments to make them come back to a happy time, I think that's kind of also what really helps me kind of keep going with that.
I love that, bro. That's Mama Alone wisdom right there. Mama Alone wisdom right
Uh,
there, bro. That's amazing. I love that. I love that, dude. It's amazing. And I think I actually shared that with you on the phone too. I'm like, bro, like, it's so cool what you're doing, because you're bringing moments of happiness for people. And I always tell everybody, everything in this business, it's not really what you say or you do. It's about how you make people feel, right? So you're creating an emotion for people that's helping them to get through a tough moment, right? You're getting them through a tough moment, so vice versa, they gift you back that, and then it keeps you going and accountable to keep moving forward. I love that, brother. That's amazing, man. Thank you very much for what you do. So you got a couple more minutes. I know you have to you have other things to do as well, but I want to make sure that we address. Anybody else have a quick question before we wrap up here? Consejos mamalones. Yes, I think somebody posted that there too. But yeah, any other questions that you guys have for Caesar? Let's make sure that we ask them the tough questions, the mamalona questions, so we can make sure that you guys get as much value as possible. I know, at least for me, this has been extremely powerful. I've taken away a lot of different things. Thank you so much for sharing authentically. Thank you so much for utilizing your voice and your platform, right, to create opportunities for everyone. So yeah, anything else? Any other last comments, or Steve? Any other last questions you have? And then Eduardo just posted a question. He said, "Your plan was to be viral from the beginning. Was that your plan, actually, to be viral from the
no,
beginning? Was that plan?"
not at all. Not at all. So when we started kind of getting like our first, like, oh, are you the guy from TikTok? My wife would make fun of me because like I would get kind of, I guess, not nervous, but it's just like I'm not one to really like toot my own horn. So it's
Hmm.
like I don't know what to say. Like, oh yeah, like it's me. What's up? You get me? uh,
Sí, yo soy.
yeah. So I'd be like, oh yes, and then like, oh, like they say whatever, and I don't know. I just sometimes I felt like a monkey in a circus. You know, they expect me to perform or something, uh,
Mm,
but yeah, the plan was not originally to, you know, hey, I'm gonna go viral. And I think if
mm,
you think like that, mm, if your mindset is I'm not like to go viral, I think you're just gonna stress yourself out.
Yeah.
I
To
love
touch
it.
on that point, sometimes when you think like, oh, I'm making this video and it's gonna hit, and it doesn't hit,
Yeah,
So
like
some,
the ones that you least expect.
yep.
Like I would tell my wife, like, no, hombre, ese está, like this video está bien, you know, está bien culero or whatever.
Bien mamalón.
Yeah, like it's not my best, but I'm just gonna post it because I need to post something. And like that one just takes off. I'm like, no, man, it's like, so you just,
Wow.
that's why I just post. Like, don't be afraid to post.
Yep. Love
Uh,
that. Love that, brother. And one more question about do you just post organically, or are you also running the ads at this point? And did that strategy change over time, or share a
I
little bit about that?
so I've never like sponsored any videos. Um,
Mm.
me personally, there's ways you can do like funneling and all that stuff, but nunca le entendí eso. But I think it's just post and that's it. Unless you, cause I feel like you really need to know how to like sponsor posts or boost a post like to where it really works for your benefit. And again, that's kind of taken away from your authenticity because you start getting messages like, oh, buy followers on Instagram, like, oh, $100 for 2,000 followers or whatever. And people can, because there's an account like from a business that like, hey, like she has a lot of followers, but she gets like she posted, she gets like 10 likes, and it just doesn't match
Mm,
the following and like what they're
mhm.
getting. So you can already kind of see it's not really authentic. So again, just be
Yes.
authentic. And if you want to pay for like to boost something, like make sure it's something, I don't know, maybe for like an open house or something that's you're trying to promote an event or something.
I love it. I love it, brother.
Yeah.
Wisdom, Mamalonsky wisdom. I love that, brother. Thank you so much for sharing once again. It is 10:56, or you're at 12:57 over there on your side. I know you have to be with your daughter here shortly, man. But thank you so
Yeah.
much for spending this morning, this afternoon with us. I've got tremendous amount of value, and I hope everybody has here. Make sure you guys follow Caesar on Instagram and also TikTok. I didn't even know you were on TikTok too, bro. I'm gonna go follow
Yeah.
you on TikTok as well. And I'm gonna definitely pick up some of your merch, man. But thank you so much once again, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you guys show a lot of love to Caesar. Make sure you guys post it out on social media.
Oh,
Post at least
real
one
quick,
takeaway. And Mr.
real
Steve,
quick.
go ahead.
Caesar, where have you seen the most like leads and stuff? What platform is your favorite? Like Facebook,
Uh,
Instagram, YouTube?
Instagram. Instagram,
Instagram?
100%. I have like more than double the following on TikTok, but Instagram is like where I guess people really connect. I think TikTok is
Mm,
like scroll and see videos, and Instagram is like where you can really connect with businesses, and that's where we've also been able to do more business collabs through Instagram.
mm.
So yeah,
I love that. I love that. Awesome, brother. Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. God bless you, my friend. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for co-hosting this amazing event. And for everyone that joined us today, make sure that you send us a message if you'd like the recording. For everybody that's part of the community, you guys are going to get an email with all of that good stuff. But thank you all so much, and we'll see you guys on the next call. God
all
bless.
right. Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
thank you, thank you. All righty. Peace.